Hello ladies, how are we? It's Lindsay here, and for those of you that are new to the group, welcome. It's so good to have you here. It's Monday, it's the Monday Live, where I bring you lots of knowledge or lots of information and new knowledge for you about perimenopause and menopause, but in a new way, right? So I hope you're all well, and for those of you that are jumping on now, welcome. And if you're watching the replay later on, pop hashtag replay so that I know that you are watching it and I can answer any questions that may come up. So ladies, what are we talking about today? We are talking about why is liver health so important during perimenopause and menopause. So if you do have any questions about that along the way, please pop them in the notes or in the comments. Janelle's on here so she can answer you, or let me know and I can answer you after the live, or answer while we're on. Afternoon, Janelle, how are you? So, hope everyone had a great weekend. It's really windy here today. We went up to Majimba, which is on the Sunshine Coast, and had a beautiful time up there. Just had a bit of, Jez has just finished work, and yeah, we had a few days just R&R, which was really lovely. So let's talk about liver health, okay? We've all got one, we all need it, and it does so many things like you wouldn't believe. Like, I think it does actually nearly 500 different functions in the body to help the body. And as you mostly know, it's one of the biggest detoxification pathways in our body. So it helps obviously do a lot of things around detoxification. But it really shouldn't be overlooked in perimenopause and menopause. And I think it's an area that people, you know, talk about, but not in depth. And it really is an important organ. So there's a few things that I just want to obviously talk about tonight, but we're going to start on, you know, what it actually does. So the liver actually helps regulate your blood sugar levels. It removes toxins from your body, helps with making and storing energy. It makes bile that you need for your digestion. So it helps break down fats. It produces some of your key hormones, and it stores vitamins. Alrighty, so it does, there's just some of the things that it does, and there's 500 functions. Like, can you believe it? It's crazy. So what's the connection between these functions and some of the most common symptoms experienced during the perimenopausal and menopausal years? So you may have heard me talk about a lot of the symptoms that we experience, you know, either leading up to perimenopause and during perimenopause and through menopause and then post-menopause. Okay, there's all these phases. It's crazy, right? But it is a time in our life which is natural. Okay, so just like you get your period, having or going through perimenopause is exactly the same. Okay, but you can imagine how over those 20 odd years or 30 odd years from when you had your period to when we actually then stop making eggs, which is essentially what happens, we lose those sex hormones, then, you know, we've done a lot to our bodies. If you think what you've put your body through and how you've either looked after it or not looked after it, how you've abused it, maybe, you know, through drugs, alcohol, prescription medication, exercise, you know, like running marathons over and over and over. That's a lot of stress on the body, a lot of cortisol, a lot of inflammation. So we end up with a lot of inflammation in our bodies. So it's really essentially, how do we then, you know, drive that inflammation down, and how do we remove the toxins that have built up in our system? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense and you're following. Okay, I don't want it to be too sciencey and over the top. I want you to be able to understand, you know, what's going on. Gosh, I just did a workout with Tills and Jez in the garage, and I'm actually like sweating, so excuse me ladies. I don't have it all together all the time. So many women feel that the cravings increase significantly during perimenopause and menopause. So it might be that you get real cravings for salty things, for, you know, sweet things. And this is really connected to how well your liver is functioning. So if your liver's not regulating your blood sugar levels, then they can fluctuate all over the place, and this results in those cravings. Alrighty. One of the other things the liver does is weight management, helps with weight management. Okay, so due to the hormonal changes and metabolic shifts, the liver plays a crucial role in regulating your metabolism, and it breaks down those fats. So if the liver, again, is not functioning, then it can contribute to weight gain and difficulty in losing that weight. And this is where I find a lot of people, you know, who come and work with me, they say, you know, I've just got this sudden weight gain. It's just around my middle, Lindsay, and I just cannot move it. So, you know, one part of my program is that we do a cleanse. So we do a 21-day cleanse. The reason behind that is to help your liver and, you know, perform these things that it's not doing, because it's mostly so clogged up. So can you imagine I always use things like, you know, your dishwasher and your washing machine, and, you know, things like your car, you know, when your oil filter gets filled up and it comes onto it reminds you to get your filter cleaned up. This is your liver. Your liver is a filter. And if you don't clean it out and look after it, then it gets clogged and it can't do and function like it should do. So you end up with all these toxins floating around back inside your system because they have got nowhere to go. Hope that makes sense. Fatigue is another common symptom of menopause that, you know, people come to me and they say, you know, I'm just so fatigued. I get out of bed in the morning, I've slept, but I'm still absolutely shattered. So again, the liver controls the production and storage of energy. So, you know, if your liver's not working effectively, then you're going to feel quite tired and exhausted. As you know, as time goes on, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and you don't do anything about it. Digestive issues start to occur. So I find a lot of my clients are struggling to break down their food, and they get that real feeling of bloatedness, and they're uncomfortable in their tummy after they've eaten. This again is an indication that your liver is struggling to function as well as it should. So again, we really need to look at and go straight to liver function and what's going on there for you. And the detoxification path is massive, right? So your liver is responsible for getting rid of excess estrogen. So it's important that it is removing it and not recirculating back into the system, because that again can cause so many, you know, issues in the body, and especially for women. You know, we don't want that excess estrogen, because that's when we start, you know, things like cancers and that start to develop. So it's really important that we get rid of that excess estrogen that can build up. Insomnia is another big one that I find a lot of women complain about, in that, you know, again, that's your liver's responsible for regulating those hormones involved in your sleep-wake cycle. So, you know, those are cortisol and your melatonin, and if they're not carefully regulated, then it can definitely interfere with your sleep. And again, if you think, you know, being a night owl is just part of your, you know, people say to me, oh, but I'm a night owl, Lindsay. I'm like, well, actually, you're not a night owl. You've just got into habits whereby you've changed your sleep-wake cycle. Okay, our sleep-wake cycle, can't speak today, our sleep-wake cycle is designed that we go to sleep when sun goes down and we wake up when the sun rises. Okay, so all that happens when you become a night owl is, I know my parents, they went through it. Like my mum was a nurse, my dad was a fiery. So we had shift work going on in our house all the time. And yeah, I saw that in my mum and dad. Like my dad's cycle now, even to this day, he can't sleep well, and he sleeps in a chair, sat up most of the time, because when he goes to bed, he just can't sleep. And that's from 30 years of doing, you know, night shifts, being awake all night and then not really sleeping that much during the day. So you can imagine how hard it is for the body to try and regulate when you get into that. So if you are, like I was in nursing, you know, doing night shifts, it's really, really messes with your biorhythms. So it's really important to try and get that sleep-wake cycle back on track. And again, that's a big part of something that I look at in my program when I'm working with my clients, in that we make sure that you are, you know, getting enough sleep, and we do try and bring your sleep back to, you know, going to bed at 9:30, so that melatonin kicks in. So you're allowing yourself to get that melatonin and then have a really good night's sleep and wake up, you know, 6:30. That's what we're aiming for anyway. Bone health as well is so important. So estrogen plays a crucial part, or a crucial role, in maintaining bone density. And as we know, as estrogen declines, then so does our bone density. And women become more susceptible to osteoporosis, and then these bone-related issues. So the liver, what the liver does there is it helps in converting vitamin D into its active form, which is essential for calcium absorption. Alrighty, so if the liver's not functioning properly, it can impact your vitamin D metabolism, leading to compromised bone health. Alrighty, so that's a big one too. And if you're not strength training, then you are going to have weaker bones, and the more likely you are to later on in life fall and break a bone. So it's really important now to think about that and really get yourself back on track. Walking, some strength exercises, and you don't have to go to a gym to do those, ladies. You can do them at home. You can do plyometrics, you can do some jumping, you can do some lateral work. It doesn't have to be at a gym. Everything can be done at home. Body weight exercise is fine to start with, and then you can buy yourself some stuff from Kmart and it works perfectly well. Alrighty, hit me up if you want some more information on that. For those of you who don't know, I'm a strength coach as well, so I do have a background in that, and I am able to give you information on that. Oh my goodness, all that exercise I just did is not helping my my words today. So a lot of the problem with today is that our modern lifestyle gives our liver a pretty rough time, in that there's poor diet, lack of exercise or lack of movement, I'm going to say, and alcohol is a big part of people's lifestyles as well. And for those of you that don't drink, then obviously that's not part for you. But a lot of people, when I speak to them, they do have a little bit of drink throughout the week, and I find that people use it as a coping mechanism, especially through perimenopause and menopause, but in fact it makes things worse. So eating our diet is laden with sugar. Processed foods are laden with sugar and E numbers and all sorts of rubbish that our body struggles to process, and our liver has to do all that work. Drinking a lot of alcohol, obviously again our liver has to process that. Being exposed to chemicals, that's a huge one as well, in and around the house. So stuff that you're using to clean your toilets, to spray on your bench tops, all of those things, they're full and laden with chemicals that you inhale, and again that has to be processed through the liver, and again it's hard for your body to actually get rid of that stuff. And then we've got all the problems with our vegetables and fruits all being sprayed these days, and I think a lot of us lead quite a stressful life, so stress is just a massive issue these days as well. Eating high, lots of foods as well which are high in estrogen, so things like your meat, your dairy, and lots of the unhealthy fats, they are high in those. So again, a lot of this compromises our liver, and again that's a big part of something that I look at is diet, and making sure that we're eliminating some of that stuff to give your liver the best chance it can, and obviously help you to feel better. Because once we get our livers functioning, a lot of the symptoms will disappear. Well, not completely, but you'll feel a lot better. At least you'll feel more energized when we clean up the liver. So the good thing about the liver, no matter how much you do to it, it does actually repair itself and heal, okay, providing we're giving it enough protein. So it's never too late to turn things around. If you think, oh my God, I've done all this stuff to my liver, it really isn't too late. So, you could start right now, changing a few habits, and your liver will thank you for it, and you'll feel better. You won't have those same symptoms. So things that you can do to help your liver: make sure you're having plenty of good fruit and vegetables. Obviously cruciferous vegetables are really good, and they're things like your kales, your cauliflowers, broccoli, cabbages. The only thing with those, if you have an underactive thyroid, they have what we call goitrogens in them, and they are not great for our thyroid. They actually slow our thyroid down. So you can cook them, and it does cook them out a little bit, but you still got the issue of, they will affect your thyroid hormones. So that's a big part of what I do. When I do the HTMA testing, so the hair tissue mineral analysis, we look at that in a big way, and we can identify whether your thyroid and your adrenals are underactive or overactive, depending on your metabolism type. So if you're interested in that and finding that out, then drop HTMA in the comments and we can run a test for you. Drinking plenty of water, ladies. So filtered water is so important. Okay, we have got so much crap in our water these days. You know, there's chlorine in it, there's fluoride in it, there's bugs in it, and it's just not great. The chlorine particularly will kill your good bacteria, leaving you, you know, with the possibility that you can get, you know, that increase in bacteria, which we don't want, and overgrowth. Because again, that can really impact us, and we can feel really crap when we've got parasites and all those yucky bugs that shouldn't be there. Alrighty, so plenty of filtered water. So have a look at your systems. I know we moved into this house in October and we've got copper pipes, so we put a filter on straight away, because I do not want to be drinking excess copper. It really is not good for us. And obviously exercise, keeping your body moving. So ladies, yoga, Pilates, walking. You know, you don't have to go to and hammer yourself at a gym like I used to do back in my 20s, crossfitting and all of the things. You know, do something you enjoy, dancing, just get out and move. But I definitely, you know, recommend you going to, you know, something like a Pilates class or a yoga class, where, you know, you are being looked after by someone, especially as, you know, things like, you know, the osteoporosis things are on the cards. You know, we really need to keep our bones nice and strong. So, you know, regular exercise is really, really important. Be mindful of the foods as well that affect your liver, like things like caffeine, sugar, carbohydrates and alcohol. If you can lower them and just, you know, cut them out, not completely, but just cut them down. You know, if you drink alcohol during the week, maybe say, right, let's cut it out during the week and just have it on a weekend. But don't make up for what you didn't have during the week, right? That's not the point. You know, think about the frequency of medications that you're having as well, because they have a massive impact on our liver too. I know when I was nursing, you know, that was a big part of something that we looked at, you know, the impact of certain medications on people's liver, because if you're having too many of a, you know, certain medication, it can really impact your liver. So your liver has got to detoxify those and get rid of them as well. So if you are on medications and you've been on them forever, go to your GP and say, do I really need to be on these? Okay. Because sometimes people come to me and they're on a plethora of medication. I'm like, why are you on this? And they're like, oh, I don't really know. Why are you on this? Oh, I've just been on it for years, and the doctor's just kept me on it. Guys, go to your doctor and ask them, why am I on this? Do I need to still be on it? Because that's not on. And it's not good for your body either. It's not good for your health. Look at replacing products like your beauty products. You know, look at what you're putting on your skin, because obviously our skin's our biggest organ. So anything you put on is going to be absorbed. And then again, your liver's got to do the work to get rid of it if it's toxic. You know, buy organic where you can. I know that's hard. I know it's expensive. And I know the cost of living has gone up. But we've just gone really sort of, you know, just eating what is in season. And that's what we stick to, because otherwise it just gets so silly. And you just don't know what, you know, what are on, a lot of those things. And if you want a handout, it's called the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. Pop that in comments and I'll send that to you as well. That's really, it's the most sprayed, highly sprayed veggies and fruits, and then the ones that aren't so sprayed. So it's always good to look at, especially as we come into the summer season here in Australia, where all the, you know, all the nice fruits start coming through, and all the berries, they are really highly sprayed. So if you can buy local and non-sprayed, then obviously you're not going to be eating lots of chemicals. Don't forget to add in lots of protein as well. Okay, so remember, we're always talking about adding 3 meals a day, and having that at least 25 to 30 grams of protein. That is going to help your liver repair itself, okay, as well as give you energy. So yeah, and it also helps remove fats from the liver as well. And the other thing that I think, you know, in terms of just helping your liver, is managing your stress. Okay, stress puts, you know, a lot of stress on all of our organs. So just finding things that you know will lower your stress. So I use a lot of tapping. I obviously use exercise. I don't really meditate, but I can just go and sit outside and chill. I do have a busy mind. But yeah, just find something that you know that you can do for at least 5 minutes a day, even if it's just some deep breathing exercises, ladies. That is just going to help. Yoga, again, is going to help with that. And just going walking out in the garden or just in nature. Go and put your feet in the sand or on the beach and walk in the water. Get those negative ions going. That's going to be really beneficial to you. So I hope that's really helpful, and I hope you've learned something today, and I've given you a little bit of knowledge to, you know, take away and have a think about. Now, all this information I have on a PDF, and if you want it, just put liver in the comments and Janelle will send that out to you. And it's just all my notes basically, but I'm happy to just share that with you. And yeah, just think about how you are currently looking after your liver. And ladies, if you need, you know, some support around this, and you know that your liver's, or you know you've got a lot of symptoms, and you may have been told by your doctor you've got a fatty liver, it can be reversed and you can do something about it. So it just takes time, right? It's not like we flick a switch and go, oh, all the symptoms are gone. It takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of digging into, you know, your history and where, you know, what you've done to your body and how your body now functions. That's a big part of it as well. But if you do want help, let me know and we can jump on a call, put chat in the comments, and let's just have a 15-minute chat about where you're at, and I can obviously help you move forward with that. So ladies, I hope that is insightful for you. I hope you have an amazing week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you all next Monday. Unless anyone's got any questions, thank you ladies for joining me. I know Melissa's on here, Suzanne's on here, Susanna, hi guys, Mel. But anyway, ladies, if you haven't got any questions, I'm going to go cook dinner, and I will see you all next week. Look after yourselves, have an amazing week, lots of love. Whoopsie, take care.